So hello guys, ako nga pala si 𝙲𝚘𝚙𝚎𝚛𝚒. Sa video na ito, pag-uusapan natin ang chapter 1079 ng One Piece. So in the first panel, we see that York tries to explain her plan or reveals the traitor plan to her subordinates, right? Or to the Seraphim, right? So York basically says, what you're gonna do is you're going to eliminate everybody. So in order niya mga Seraphim, napatayin lahat ng tao except for her. Then she told 𝚲𝚘𝚎 to petrify her, to remove the petrification kapag wala na ang ibang mga Vegapunks or wala na mga tao, right? And then we see people running away from Egghead, and then we see a very clear silhouette or sa isa sa ship ni Blackbeard. I'm pretty sure nga hindi ito si Blackbeard, it's probably just one of his captains. But this is still important, so take note sa ito guys. And then we see like Kid and Killer meet members of Shanks' crew. Kid comments nga they look pretty weak daw. Then Killer says nga Kid should take them more seriously. And then Kid says nga Kid never pulls his punches, which means nga he always takes these people seriously basically. And then we see nga Shanks tell his fleet to back off and that he didn't really intend to stay that long in that place. This is probably referring to Elbaf. And then Oda basically confirms our assumption. Shanks' Grand Fleet is actually pretty weak. The only reason nga nakasurvive sila for this long is because pinaprotektahan sila ni Shanks, right? That's actually pretty interesting. And then we see Lakiru comment nga they are enough to handle Kid's crew, but Shanks disagrees and says nga you shouldn't underestimate the power of these youngsters. And then he asks Yasop if Kid is okay, if he has injuries, or if he can fight. And then Yasop just uses his observation haki to basically check, and that Kid was fine because he's already trying to pick a fight with them, right? So isa sa mga crew ni Shanks nag-mention they expected Blackbeard to go to Wano. This is probably for the load poneglyph obviously, but he didn't show up there. And we also see na one of his crew members nagbigay siya ng information ni Shanks about ni Kid that he's from South Blue and that he rampaged a lot to get to where he is now. And then makikita natin na Kid is preparing the attack that he used against Big Mom to deal the final blow, which is Damned Punk. So it's like a massive cannon obviously, we know this already. Also take note nga, for some reason dahil sa napakalakas na magnetic pull ng giant na cannon na ito or ng Damned Punk ni Kid, he's actually pulling the members of Shanks' crew towards himself. So napakalakas talaga ng gravitational pull ng atake nito guys. Because if you notice, napakalayo ng distance between sa island ng Elbaf and sa ship ni Kid. And then we see na ginamit ni Shanks ang kanyang future sight. And so we can see he sees the possible damage na magagawa ni Kid sa kanyang crew. And so he takes this more seriously. And he basically, kung makita natin, tumalon siya from Elbaf, the island, to basically in front of Kid's ship, which is pretty insane when you think about it. That's kasi napakalayo ng distance niyan, right? And then makita natin one of the most badass scenes in this chapter. We see na Shanks uses Divine Departure. Ito ang attack na ginamit ni Roger noong nakipaglaban siya kang Whitebeard. This is very strong. It's an advanced conquer coated attack. Grabe, napaka-hype ng panel na yun guys. So we basically then see Kid's crew faint from Shanks' haki, and we see Kid basically na one shot si Kid guys. Kita din natin nga si Killer also faints with him because he tried to help Kid, right? And then because of this, the Kid pirates, they basically surrendered. They tried to give their load poneglyph in exchange sa buhay ng captain nila, which is si Kid. And not gonna lie, Shanks looks pretty badass here guys. Then makita natin Shanks once again disappear from the ship. Then he goes back to Elbaf, or he goes back to the island. And then makikita natin na Dory and Rogue is preparing their attack na they used way back then in pre-time skip period, right? Where they use Hakuko Sovereignty, or basically Ocean Sovereignty is yung attack na ginamit din ni Big Mom and ni Kaido. And pretty badass. They also say na if you're prepared to point a cannon at someone's home, then you should also be prepared to face a cannon in retaliation, right? And then makita natin nga Kid's ship was basically destroyed. Their entire crew was eliminated on that day based on the panel. I'm not very sure if nawala talaga yung crew ni Kid lahat, and I'm pretty sure na Kid's not dead. I'm not sure what Oda's gonna do though about them, so that's pretty exciting else, I guess. Also, I think ang ginagawa ni Oda is he's trying to call yung mga tao na sasali sa final war. Pinapaliit niya kung sino ang magpa-participate, mga people na who are not worthy. Kasi if ipisipin nyo, even though they took down both Big Mom and Kaido, Law and Kid's crew are not very strong compared to Luffy's crew. They're not actually an Emperor's crew in terms of strength, right? Because the only strong fighters sa crew ni Kid and ni Shanks, ay ni Kid and ni Law, is first si Law himself, and then sa kang Kid is like just killer, right? Nobody else. In Luffy's crew, there's a lot. We have Zoro, Sanji, Robin, Jinbei. So there's a lot of fighters, right? But obviously, I did not really expect, once again, hindi ako na-expect na mga Kid would be taken out that quickly. I expected him to put up more of a fight. So it was pretty sad to see, actually. Just like yung battle ni Blackbeard and Law, where Law actually put up a bit of a fight against Blackbeard's crew. Expected that kind of fight. I didn't really expect like a one-shot, even though we don't really know the outcome of the Blackbeard and Law fight. So yeah, that's also something to take note of. So yan ang chapter, guys. I hope you liked it. Like and subscribe kayo if gusto nyo pa makita ng mga ganitong video, and I'll see you guys later.